It's giving grandma, but it's okay. So Stephen A. Smith, he pretty much says on his show how he feels like Joe Biden at this point should pardon Donald Trump. He put out a video on his podcast, and I feel like y'all, if you have the chance or if you have the time, please go watch it. Like, he was spitting a lot of facts. I know some people feel iffy when it comes to Stephen A., but when I tell you, this is probably one of my favorite takes on him. Like, he was spitting facts. He was essentially saying how people feel like he's a Republican because he always criticizes the Democratic Party. And when I say I resonate with him, I think a lot of Democrats or registered Democrats who are now like independent are in that mind space where it's just like, yo, y'all are so far gone, so much so I'm just going to stay myself in the middle. I'm going to stay myself in the middle. I'm going to work with the right and I'm going to work with the left regards to what's best for the American people. And I think that's where Stephen A. Smith headspace is at. Before we begin today's video, be sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you're notified whenever I post a new video. Follow me on my social media as we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers because we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Amen. We're going to go ahead and watch a clip of this. This is essentially him going over how Democrats, you need to get over it. He said it. He clocked it. He said, Democrats, you lost. Get over it. Not only did you lose, but you lost the electoral vote and you lost the popular vote. And not only that, but the House and the Senate's leaning right. He's pretty much saying like where the Democrats are right now, you're doing every and anything but strategizing to win for 2028. Goes in to say how Joe Biden pardoning his son, he should pardon Donald Trump in a sense of where he feels as if clean slate, the Democrats are just like feeding, like they're fishing for at least something to hold him accountable, wasting taxpayer dollars. And he has a solid point in it. So I really want y'all to watch this and then we're going to go ahead and discuss. I look so much like a grandma, y'all.
Since I basically gave the Democratic Party the finger because you kept saying, we follow the rule of law, we follow the rule of law, we follow the rule of law. And then you went and you circumvented all of that to get to pardon your son Hunter. Since you were willing to do that, if I was President Joe Biden, I would pardon Donald Trump. I'm going to see it again. I would pardon Donald Trump. For one reason and one reason only. He said, I'm standing on it. To move the hell on. Enough's enough. Enough's enough. You tried to get him if you Nancy Pelosi. You tried to get him if you Chuck Schumer. You tried to get him if you were the Dems in the Senate and the House. You tried to get him if you were the FBI. You tried to get him if you were the Department of Justice. You tried to get him. I mean, damn. Russian collusion. What happened? See, we keep talking and talking and talking. And all we see at the end of the day is that you inconvenience Donald Trump and you cause them headaches. Probably forced him to take a few doses of Motrin or Tylenol. That's all you did. You ain't doing anything else to him. He is back in the White House next month.
I think that's the part that the Democrats aren't grasping on. I understand the whole, Stephen A. Smith coming from a position of like, what you're doing isn't working. The only thing that it is actually doing is just giving Donald Trump a headache. Like, you're not doing it. You're not making a point. You're not making the statement that you think that it's making, especially with the cases that Donald Trump is facing or faced. So I think I get his point there. Me personally, saying that Joe Biden should pardon Donald Trump, that is... I even had issues with Joe Biden pardoning his son, even though I said I would do that in my situation. But I even had issues with Joe Biden saying that he wasn't going to pardon his son just to pardon him. So him pardoning Trump, that's just like, who knows at that point? That's going to be Democrat child. But I do understand where Stephen A. is coming from. And I also agree with a lot of points that he's saying, because it's like Democrats, take a step back. You're spending all this money. You're doing all these things for what? Like, what is it actually solving? What is it actually doing? Because he's not going to jail. That's for one. Like, he's not getting locked up. So I think I am on the same page as Stephen A. It's like, I'm confused. Where's the logic behind all of this?
All that shit y'all did. All the stuff you pulled. You had your surrogates out there, your pundits out there. You engaged in lawfare. You did everything. and you convince the American people, yo, his ass belongs in jail. And where he going instead? Back to the White House. So, of course, when you see that preponderance of evidence that ultimately hits us, with the reality is that no matter how hard you try, whatever mechanisms you put in place, whatever, tactics you utilized, it all amounted to nothing. Joe Biden,
because he won.
They caught him sleeping at an African conference in Angola. Donald Trump wide awake, going back to the White House. Peggy Noonan, an outstanding columnist for the Wall Street Journal, wrote about the unprecedents that exist with a president-elect who's usually chilling. They're normally only making news when there are headlines announcing their cabinet members. Yet, Donald Trump is walking around like he's president now.
Literally, I'm going to give him that. I 100% agree. Like, the way that Donald Trump is moving with authority and he's not even officially inaugurated yet, it's like, he's like, yo, if Joe Biden ain't gonna do it, if VP Harris isn't gonna do her job, let me go ahead and step in. Whether you like the man or not, it's just like that willingness, that motivation, the intentionality behind what he is doing. Where was that within our current administration? Where was that at? Until the Democratic Party can take a step back and not only acknowledge how far gone they have gotten, but also acknowledge like, hey, if we want to win the trust of the American people, it starts from within and not by pointing the finger at what Donald Trump is doing wrong and what he's not doing right. But it starts from within. 2028 is going to be another Republican year. And in 2032 and 2036 and however many years until like the Democratic Party gets its ish together. I'm being so serious.
In France recently, for the reopening, what is it, the Notre Dame Cathedral? Talking to Zelensky for Ukraine, no doubt Putin for Russia, talking to Benjamin Netanyahu.
Russia.
With the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Look at what is happening. Every time there is substantive stuff to talk about in the world of politics, Donald Trump's name is the headline instead of President Joe Biden. Y'all lost.
Yeah, you got to give it to them. You got
to give it to them. The Democrats, you lost. You got your ass kicked in every way imaginable. And why am I saying it like that? It's not because of the election. It's because of what's still happening. Every single other day, this man is making headlines about political issues that are supposed to be dominated by President Biden and the White House. It's not happening. It's him. If that ain't definitive evidence that you have lost, and it is time to lick your wounds, look in the mirror, and revisit all of those tactics you tried to exercise, clearly in an effort to keep him out of the White House, it's now. Maybe you shouldn't have adopted woke culture, embraced woke culture and woke ideology the way that you should. To the LGBTQ community, anybody with decency should support you and your right to live your life. But I didn't hear the right talking about the LGBT community in general and painting everybody with a broad brush. I heard them.
I truly believe the Democrats allocated so much time in trying to prove the American people that Donald Trump is such this bad person rather than allocating the same amount of time trying to strategize and convince the American people why they are a better choice. It did bite the Democrats in the butt. It really did. And if you don't see it, I just truly believe that's how out of touch of reality you are. Why so many Democrats are just moving as independents, because they're just like, yo, y'all, I can't even trust you either. You're telling me I can't trust the right. I can't trust you either at this given point. But I agree with Stephen A. In the context of where the Democrats, number one, you need to get over it. Number two, the way that Donald Trump is maneuvering, he is, whether you agree with his policies or not, he's maneuvering as a leader. He's maneuvering as a president in regards to the politics of it. Like the people he is meeting, the places he is going, it's just like he's not even officially in office. And it's, I don't even want to be mean. I generally don't want to be mean, but let me know your thoughts on the comments down below. What do you think? Would you pardon Donald Trump if you were in Joe Biden's position? Like, politics aside, whether you're a Republican, whether you're a Democrat, like just the context of it, would you pardon Donald Trump based off of everything that you put him through in regards to the legal aspect of it, knowing that number one, he's not going to jail, and two, your people may say a waste of taxpayer dollars? Would you pardon him, or do you think, hey, it's out of my hand? Let me know your thoughts on the comments down below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you're notified whenever I post a new video. Follow me on my social media. I love y'all all. God bless y'all. This is Uduak, connecting people with policy.